So hope you are able to hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So very good evening, all of you. Let's start. Yeah. So where did we stop in the last class? So we were talking about REST services, and we did so how to create a RESTful service project, how to how this REST service class looks like, right? We call it as a root resource class. Yes. So today we'll talk about creating a service, okay, which uses Hibernate to fetch the records from the database and transforms them into product of JSON objects and sends them to the client. That means this service helps the clients to um, search the records, fetch the records, adding the records, all such things. Okay. Yes. Yeah. First of all, if you want to use Hibernate framework in this project, so what do you people think? What are we supposed to do? So yes. So first of all, you see in that form.xml file associated with this Maven, so we need to add the Hibernate library. Let me just copy them. We have them in another project here, right? So we need a Hibernate and the JDBC driver dependencies. We need both the dependencies. Yes. Copy them and add it to the stressful project form.xml file. See in this file, I'm adding it. Carefully add it. You'll find dependencies. Under the dependencies, you see, you can add your dependency like this. See, so Hibernate 5.2.0, 2.10 in this JDBC drive. Both. What's next? The next thing is here. We need a configuration file, right? So we are working with Hibernate framework. So we need a configuration file. You can copy it. Okay. Now let me also add that product class, just a product class, that entity class. Would like to work with this product class. Okay. And we need utility class also here. It helps us to create a connection factory on session factory object. So this is your same product entity class which I used in Hibernate framework. Okay. Now let's do one thing. I will create a RESTful resource class. I mean the service class here. Let me call it as product service. And then you see this is just a normal Java class. How do I make it a resource class or a service class here? So this is where your annotation at the rate path comes into the picture. At the rate path annotation is used for this purpose. And the URL I'll configure it as product service. Okay. Next, let's add a method here. Say get product or fetch product. Let's say which will take ID as input. And this method, you see, it takes the product ID as input, and let's say it returns a product object. I would like to expose this method as a web service method. I want to expose this method as a web service method here. So what are we supposed to do? Yes. So in this case, not some annotation, but you have to use method designator gets. This is one of the method designators, which indicates that this method, it handles HTTP method get request. Also, it indicates that this method, it represents a read operation. That means it helps the clients to fetch some data or read some data. That's it. Read a resource. Okay. Next, you see, this method, it takes a parameter. We have to register it as a path parameter. Why we'll see. You register it as a path parameter here. At the rate path param. Carefully import the package as a class. You see javax.ws.rs. So Jax RS API. It belongs to javax.ws. Okay. So we are configuring a path parameter. So that means whenever the client places a request, the client has to pass this path parameter here. The client is supposed to pass the path parameter. Yes. Okay. Next, you see, now this method will take that product ID and it is supposed to fetch that product record from the database, right? So here, for that, I'll write, I'll write the code here itself. I'm sorry. I'll write the code here itself. You see, we'll create a session factory object. I'll make it static. Simply call that method hibernate return dot get session factory. Okay. You get a session factory object, right? So session dot. We'll call this, sorry, open session. It will return a session object. In the session, we have this get method, pass the product class name, and the ID. So it returns a product object here. So also, you have to configure the URL this way, ID. Okay, I'll explain it just a second. Now, how will you access this method? So it's a RESTful resource method, right? So basically, to access this method, you'll use URLs. What is the URL? The class URL itself, whatever the URL which is configured for the class, the same URL you need to use it here. See product service. So product service is a URL, and you see here this method, it takes the path parameter, right? So that path parameter should be appended to this URL product service this way /id. Additionally, this method it takes this path parameter /id. This is how you'll register that path parameter. It indicates that the path parameter has to be appended to that URL itself. Okay. Yes. And to place the request for this method, which HTTP method has to be used? HTTP method gets. HTTP method get has to be used for this purpose. Next, over here, we'll we'll deploy this application on the server. Oh, one more thing is that what is it? It's a RESTful resource class, right? Resource method. It's a web service method, I can say. It's a web service method. So it is supposed to always return the data, which is language independent format, right? So if this method returns a product object directly to the client, so for the clients, the client may be any client. The client may not be Java client, right? So this web service method can be accessed by any client. Okay, .NET, Java, PHP, Python client. So the data written by this method, whatever the data this method returns, it should be language independent, platform independent. So we have to make sure that this method, it returns the data which is platform independent and language independent. Okay. Yeah. Just a minute, please. Yeah. So here, this data product object, it has to be transformed into an appropriate format here. Yes, it should be transformed into appropriate format. So for that, you just use this annotation produces, and you can specify media type, application, JSON. That's it. Sorry, not JSON. I'll make it XML first of all. I have to enable JSON support also. Tell you. So produces media type application XML. That means it indicates that this method should return will return XML data. The return type here is XML type. The response data has to be in the XML format. That is what it indicates. So, but we are returning a product object, right? Though we are returning a product object, you'll find that here the framework will transform that product object into XML format here. Okay, the framework itself will take care of transforming the product object into XML format. Yes. So, but we need to do one thing here. We have to, in order to support and enable that product object to XML format, okay, so we have to annotate this class with @XML root element. Just annotate this class with this method, with this annotation @XML root element, I can say. So which enables the transformation of the product object to XML format here. Yeah. So that's all we need to do here. Nothing more than that. Just deploy this application on the server. Okay. So let's place the request for that RESTful service method. So just add this prefix REST followed by the URL product service /101. Okay. So the last value, see that product ID, we're just appending it to this URL and we are sending it. That is what we are doing. Press enter. Five hundred. Query has been executed. So annotate that's the small total one. Let me just redeploy this application once. Uh, the method is called, let me just comment this association details. The supplier is not linked. Okay. Okay. Do one thing. I'll try to register this supplier. I'm commenting it. No, the supplier is not registered. Let's see. So there is a problem with fetching. If there is an associated record, that's the problem here. Okay, I'll try to sort it out and let you know what is the problem. So let's work with this single product entity now. I'll tell you what is the problem and we'll try to fix it. So the next thing here, have you noticed it? Uh, the client got the XML data, the product object you see, it is transformed into XML format and it returns the XML data here. That is what we got, right? See, a web service should be language independent and platform independent, right? In this method, I can say that yes, it is platform independent, language independent. First of all, in this method here, in order to access this uh, RESTful web service method, we're using URLs. We are placing HTTP request, right? We are placing HTTP request here. That is what we are doing. So HTTP, as I told you people, is language and platform independent. Okay. So next thing, this method here, it returns XML data, right? This method which you got here, the web service method, what it is doing, it returns XML data. Yes. So this method is invoked through the client. How it is calling this method? Not directly, right? It places a HTTP request by using the URL, and this method in turn it returns XML data in response. So XML is actually platform and language independent. That's it. Yeah. So I hope you people got it. So is this clear for everyone? Okay. I hope that you people got it right. So
Yes.
okay, thank you. Now let's add another method, and it will fetch all the product records, multiple product records. Okay, it will fetch multiple product records here. Yes. For that, let's define a method. Now the method's return type will be list type, list of product objects, get products. It won't take any parameter. We'll annotate it with get. No need of path because there are no parameters here. Just add producers, media type, application Excel. That's it. And then here we'll open a session. You don't forget to close it also. Session.close. You see, how will you fetch all the records using Hibernate framework? Can you people tell me? Is there any method to fetch all the records? Yeah. If I have to fetch all the records, then what are we supposed to do here? Yes.
So create query method you might have to use.
Yes, HQL query, right? Yeah. So we have to construct a HQL query now. So there is no method to fetch all the records. So basically, you need to construct a HQL query. So if you have to fetch all the records, okay? Yeah. I'm sorry, just a minute, please. Just a minute. Okay, I'm back. So now we have to construct a query. See, in this query, it returns product objects, session dot create query from product. That is what we need to do. Next, execute the query. Query dot list. It returns list of product objects. So it returns the products list. That's it. You see, so this method, so simply it returns this list of product objects. So that list of product objects, how they will be represented here? Again, you see, they will be transformed into XML objects. They will be transformed into XML objects, I can say. Yes. XML format, not objects. They're transformed into XML format and they're displayed here accordingly. Okay. So let's try to deploy this project. Just a minute. Okay. Now, can you please tell me how to place the request for this method? For this method get products, how we have to place the request? Yes. Yeah. You see, you have to use that URL itself. Okay. You need to use that URL product service. Whatever the URL which you have configured for the class, the same URL you have to use it. Okay. The same URL you have to use it here. Yes. So let's try to test this code, but you won't pass any path parameters. It doesn't take any path parameters, right? Yeah. See, you see, you got multiple products here. You got the actual data. See? So now the thing is here, I want this methods to return JSON data. Generally, you'll find that most of the times REST services will return JSON data rather than XML. Even they can return XML data, but JSON is used a lot. Okay. Yes. Response format. If it is JSON format, it would be more appropriate, I would say. Okay. Yes. So because most of the front-end technologies will be using JSON and REST services itself. Then front-end technologies, so JSON is used as an XML a lot. Okay. Yes. Yes. So now, how will you transform this product objects into JSON format? So actually, we don't have to write any code again. You see, even to transform product objects to XML format, we didn't write any code, right? Here, you'll find that the framework itself will take care of it. But we have to enable JSON support here. So by default, you won't have JSON support. So to enable JSON support, what you will do, you see, you have to uncomment this dependency. You'll find one dependency which is commented here if you can check this. Okay, so this is the dependency which is commented. What it says, uncomment this to get JSON. Uncomment this dependency to get JSON. I can say. Yes. So just uncomment this one. Yeah. Now by adding this dependency, you'll find that we have enabled JSON support here. Yes, we have enabled JSON support. Okay. Next, so let's make our method to return the JSON, the data in the JSON format. Okay. Yes. Now instead of using application XML, just specify it as application JSON. That's it. So let's see. I've added it for this first method. /101. Let's say. Okay. See, I'm adding the path parameter because the first one takes path parameter. Oops. Just a minute. Oh, I stopped the service. Just let me run this service. You see, you got this
This
data.
data looks like sorted.
Not sorted, but it's just a JSON object. That is how it looks like. Just one single JSON object. The properties are there, no? Just
Yeah, maybe
property.
sorted by the property name,
But
like DINP.
yeah, we can ignore it. Generally, sorting it doesn't apply here for this type of object. Yeah. So, so are you familiar with JSON format for all of you? You just have to explain this JSON format also. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I will discuss about it. So now you see, this is another data representation format here. Okay, JSON is actually another data representation format. Yes, you saw Java objects, you saw database records. See, now we got JSON formats. XML, Java objects, JSON, you see database records. So there are different data representation formats here. Yes. So, but you will find that JSON and XML are universal data representation formats, so which are widely used, widely known, which are platform and language independent. Okay, yeah, that is how it works. So I will talk about this formats in the next class. Okay, so please excuse me. I'll stop it here today. Um, I have some urgent stuff to do. So we'll meet tomorrow at our regular time. And tomorrow first I'll explain this JSON format, and then we'll proceed ahead. We'll continue further, and I'll talk about passing multiple path parameters. We'll see query parameters, form parameters, and then I'll show you REST client, advanced REST client, how to access REST services from a tool, and you know we'll also try to access this, access this REST services from client application. We'll write a Java client to access the services. So these are all the things which we need to do. Okay? Let's stop it here early. I'm sorry. So, but let's meet tomorrow and we'll continue discussion. Okay. Thank you all.